everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. I know it's the afternoon of the long, well, I guess what, been good 3-4 days kind of thing. So hope you've all enjoyed the show. I know I have. It's been very interesting on the exhibition there. So I'm just trying to gauge whether or not I should use my glasses at my advanced age on these comfort monitors down here. And I have a whopping 25 minutes. So Lily, if I'm running late, shake something and make sure I speed it up. But thank you very much. And as Lance had mentioned, what I'd like to talk to you about today is what we're doing as a business directly with paying subscribers in the context of AR for retail. We're using sentiment analysis quite actively right now to better understand how to, what I would refer to, customize the customer journey or the customer success story around conversions. So I'm going to pull that up in a couple of actual case studies for you to see. The agenda today, I'll not torture you with a lot of presentation and PowerPoints, but basically I'll do one quick slide about us, mostly our technology stack and the markets that we're pointed into. I'm going to focus very deeply on this sentiment analysis and how we're using it in retail. And I'd like to introduce the notion of conversational commerce and what we're doing in that space, because I think we've got some very, very groundbreaking technology that we're bringing into the market around that. I'd like to share with you a little bit of our grand vision of how we're going to embed human holograms into that conversion process and how those holograms will interact through AI to really refine the conversion process straight off the bat. And then we'll just dive deeply into a couple of case studies. After that, I'll wrap it up with a little bit of the customer journey. So at a very, very top level, NexTech has spent the better part of about a year and a half building a very, very comprehensive stack of technology. We're a public company, we're well funded. We realized early that we needed to create a self-service, highly scalable system that would predominantly run through the cloud. And as we engineered it, what we did is we started to build out stacks basically for AR, AI, and analytics. And why that's key is you really need the composition of all three of those to really be powerful from a delivery point of view in today's world. When we got the technology working, we began to validate it with a lot of paying early adopters. We realized very quickly that we had a very comprehensive spectrum of offer, and we would point it directly into AR for retail, AR for learning, and of course AR for entertainment. Because when you think about it, much of this so-called next new mass medium that's coming out of AR fits appropriately in those three growth categories. There's other segments, no doubt, but our technology we found fit very well within those three. So today I'm going to talk to you specifically about what we're doing in retail. We've, many of the founders within the business, many of our employees, we've all had history in retail. And what became fundamental to us was how we could utilize that technology stack to really better understand measurement of sentiment through the selling and buying process. And as we were doing that, we began to work with a number of our subscribers to better understand what could we be doing that we could almost capture and bottle the sentiment that a salesperson has when you're in the store and put that into our tech stack. So we've got sentiment analysis happening through the entire customer journey. And that basically became a goal state for us. As we were developing it and testing it, it became very clear that we could use the AI component of our stack, marry it or infuse it into AR, and actually see facets, trends happening from a sentiment point of view. That was very, very powerful for us. When we, let me just make sure the slide here, hang on, click, there we go. Okay, so when we began to study how we could take sentiment from the store or in-store experience and put it into that AR stack, it became very clear we would need human holograms. Myself and others in the company have some fairly deep experience with holograms that I'll show you momentarily, but we're not that far away from actually having human 3D volumetric experiences with human holograms through the phone, and as I've seen, there's a plethora of headset devices out there available to us. But what we really wanted to be able to do was to season that AR with natural language response or analysis, sentiment analysis around natural language responses, as well as computer vision and machine learning. Because we realized that if we could put that into the experience with the hologram, we'd be able to actually create that sort of goal state around bringing that sales agent into the actual customer journey outside of the store. So if I could, for the guys in the video, if you could fire up the first one, I'll set this up by showing you a couple of examples of what we're doing with holograms. This is Mr. Steak, Nick Scully, his little barbecue on the right there. I think you can't go into Bass Pro or Cabela's without bumping into one of these things, but it's basically their entire product. We've built holograms for guys like Gary Vee and popped them into major events and major stores. We've also taken hologram ambassadors, put them directly into apps, drop them into your kitchen. They can walk over and make a selection of anything they want. And we've even done larger shows. I did this back about 4 years ago. This is actually a hologram of Tony Robbins live, beaming from Florida all the way into Melbourne, Australia, real-time, 3-second latency, all over the world. There's about 1,000 people in that audience for a 4-day training conference. So this is where we see the entire experience going. This is Chris. She's a brand ambassador. She's literally talking about this Palm and Turn product. She works for a packaging company. And this is fairly common nowadays, but this is how we see that human hologram dropping into that experience and then delivering that type of information. So for us, that's a bit of the grand vision. We don't think it's too far off. We think that this type of capability put up onto the self-serve platform that we've got gets us basically about a straw length underwater from actually being there. So we think within a year we'll be actually operating that at a price point and a capability that's, I think, quite extraordinary from where we are today. So where are we today? Guys, if we could cue up the next video, I'll run through that and then I'll address the points on that slide. This is all running off our platform. Very typical scenario. A couple of folks want to put basically a fridge into their kitchen. They can bring it right off the website. And I'm sure all you guys have seen this before, but it's a mobile AR. This is actually our web app right now. They just plop it in. They can take pictures. We literally have a copy and paste scenario with an embed code. It goes right on your website. You click on it. You can bring the product up. You can put it in through the browser anywhere you want, any location. These are real world examples. These are active people. I'll show you as we go through the case studies. The conversion rates are off the charts. And basically, you can place the product anywhere you want. When you find where you'd like to do it, you literally lock it in. You can spin it. You can take a photo. You can share it with virtually anybody you want. But more importantly, you can actually go in and add it to cart. And this is critical because you're still inside the sales funnel, the e-com funnel that's measuring the accuracy of your conversion rates within your system, within your e-com site. So today we look at it and we think, all right, we've got app AR and we've got web AR. App AR to us has a little bit of friction because, well, you can get some pretty cool functionality out of it. You've really got, if you're a retailer and you want to use it, you've got to download the app, or you've got to embed in an app, or your team's got to sort of cohabitate with another team and put the app together. If it's web AR, it's easy. You literally copy and paste onto a system like ours. You get an embed code, same way you would upload a video to YouTube, and then you can pop it into virtually any piece of IP-enabled content, be it your website, your blog post, your Facebook ad, whatever works. So for us, that was super important, and we're going to study that in a couple of our case studies. What I'd like to do next is introduce you to what I believe and what we think at NexTech will become one of the next new categories for AR. This is super compelling because it's using the same technology stack that I described earlier with the AR, the AI, and the analytics. It's taking much of what we've done with the self-serve model through our embed code, but it's enabling us to put it into the data layer of messaging systems. So we're calling this AR chat. And this is fundamental because if you're a retailer and you're thinking about commerce, in today's world, the new battleground there is not the website, it's actually the messaging app. The conversational commerce that's happening day in and day out between customers and brands is happening in the app, in the messaging app. So we took our tech, we built it out, and we created AR Chat. More to the point, we partnered with the foremost provider of that technology on the planet, LivePerson, to embed our tech into their tech and their 18,000 customers that are out there. So we think that web AR with conversational commerce will be the next new channel, the new e-com battleground for retailers. And when we take that capability and season it with the sentiment analysis that I'm about to show you, you can see where the two worlds collide. It's very, very exciting. Guys, if we could, before we run, let's run the video. So this is an actual example from the Tamara Mellon Apple Business Chat. There's actually a bot that fires over to an agent who provides a product selection menu for the user. The actual shopper can take the shoes right from the messaging app, place them in their home wherever they happen to be, but more importantly, because it's AR, they're able to pull that up, bring it into their room, and drop it beside the type of dress that they want. So right now, these particular shoes are being viewed in AR with the consumer on top of the dress that they'd like to do. And once they're comfortable with that, they can bring the conversation right back into the messaging app, continue the dialogue with the actual sales agent, all in real time. If the agent sees the intent and the sentiment is there, they can actually go ahead and make a purchase. And more importantly, because they haven't left the messaging app, that purchase can be handled in this particular case by Apple Pay. So through that entire customer journey right now, we've actually taken an AI robot over to a virtual sales agent. That sales agent's gone and talked to the customer at home. The customer's taken the AR app, put it into their room, selected the product they want, and literally made the purchase all within that system. And with that kind of capability embedded into that workflow, we think that's going to be another killer app for AR as a use case. So I would suggest you look for that, because over the next 60 days, we're releasing that. I think we, as well as many other folks that are in the AR space, will begin to adopt that capability, because conversational commerce is the absolute new channel for many brands right now. It's a strong way for them to follow the customer outside of the store. Why do we think web AR, chat AR is so compelling? And I think for virtually everybody in the room right now, you probably have the same feeling. It's just the sheer magnitude of the total addressable market for the display devices. Forget apps. From a web point of view, web AR and now chat, you're literally on billions of smartphones today. Tablets, computers, same thing. You might not have the functionality that you would get out of a robust app, but from a retail point of view, if you're trying to understand sentiment, if you're trying to continue with that customer journey, you'll sacrifice that. And that functionality, as browsers and portions of those tech stacks become a lot more robust, that capability will become then resident in those apps. So you don't need to worry about it. If anything, it's delayed temporarily. But the net is, when I show you through these case studies, the zeitgeist for the market today with retailer, web AR, and the same functionality inside the SMS messaging platforms that are out there seems to be the perfect point and cut-in for AR in the retail segment. So we'll show you some of that. So this, we happen to, we went out and basically put our AR onto a couple of e-com sites. And I think I mentioned we're a public business. So we put it onto one company in particular. You can guys go do this, go on your web right now and check it out, vacuumcleanermarket.com. We put it in December. By the end of January, their sales had driven so much, we acquired the business. We brought it in. We loved their cash flow. More importantly, it gave us a sandbox with which to actually put our AR in and watch firsthand that entire customer journey. These stats I can share with you because we own the business. I'm happy to run you through it, but literally we've got a 300 to 500% conversion rate. I'll actually show you page values Google's ranked independently on where they went before we put our AR on and where it went now with the AR on it. It's a 100, 200% increase in the page value alone. So I'm not making the numbers up. We're getting third-party endorsement out. So guys, can we run the video and I'll basically show the team here what's going on. So again, you can go to this on your website. Down here, this little video, very, very basic. You click on it, it brings up the vacuum. You can have all sorts of web AR experiences with it. You can call for help, support, all that kind of good stuff. You can buy from cart. But if you look at it, basically the net of it is the page value over on the far right is all we pay attention to. How many people came to the site, how many opened it, how long did the dwell time increase, and more importantly, how many of them actually clicked the button and add to cart. That was critical for us because what it started to tell us was that AR was working. And in the world of a vacuum cleaner, well, it sounds kind of crazy and it's completely unsexy. It's one of those products I love. Everybody needs one. And they break down every now and then. They always need new stuff. They always need new toys, et cetera, et cetera. So we went in, we acquired the business, and we use it, and we see some phenomenal results. So we love it. The next case study I have is with a group called the Wright Brothers. I think everybody knows or may have heard of the Wright Brothers. They invented aviation. This is actually with the Wright Brothers Foundation and their licensing arm. And this is interesting because this is a very strong use case for the sentiment analysis technology in the AI portion of our stack. What we did here was we partnered with Wright Brothers. In fact, they're subscribers, so they use our AR embed codes to basically ARitize an awful lot of the products that they're licensing out. So think aviator glasses, all those little prints of the flyer. They have a huge bicycle section, all that type of stuff. And again, you can go to their website and look at it. But basically, guys, if we could run this video, I'll walk the team through that. So here you basically log on to our site. You know, it's very easy. You copy and paste in your aviator glasses, maybe say a few things about it. You get a little button, and there's your embed code. You basically copy it onto your product page. You hit save. You refresh your browser, and poof, it shows up on your actual website. I mean, it's that simple. Now you try them on. And so, the glasses look a little cheesy because we're just delivering this one. But this is our producer, Dawson. She's trying it out for me. And our sentiment analysis is working in the background. What's happening is, as she smiles, the vectors, the facets, are actually coming in, and they're gauging how strong her sentiment is around that particular product. And we can set thresholds. If she seems to be happy, if she seems to be sad, if she's smiling, we'll actually suggest she buys a product. If she's unhappy, we can actually suggest other products that look very different than the products that she's wearing. And we begin to use these facets of sentiment to better understand what the customer journey is as we go through that from a product recommendation point of view. It's very powerful. The final case study I'll talk about is Tamara Mellon with Live Person. And this really goes deeply into this idea of conversational commerce and where we think this next new battleground for e-com channels will be, where we think the next iteration of AR will materialize in the now. In other words, with all those displayable devices available to us, this is a market that's ripe for opportunity. So a little bit of background. So Tamara Mellon, for those that don't know, power force behind Jimmy Choo shoes. She created her own high-end luxury shoe brand, sells pretty much globally. Very, very technology forward. Very interested in understanding how to remove the friction point in the customer journey, very much into using technology for empowerment and for the benefit of her brand. So guys, let's walk through this video, and I'll talk over it. So, typically, as you would expect, shoppers coming into the mall, they see a pair of shoes, and basically, they're literally outside the store. Everybody's done this. They go onto Instagram. They're in Instagram. They're looking at some styles. They pick one of the styles. And right now, we deep link into the Apple Business Chat. Comes in, it's branded, and this is a robot right now. It's AI powered. It's talking to the consumer. It's sensing through natural language response sentiment. And as it starts to see the sentiment drifting towards a product purchase, or at least a product selection, it's handed over to a live agent. The live agent picks it up and says, what are you doing? And of course, like we all do with chat, we share messaging, we share pictures. Oh, that looks great. Let me select or suggest a few products for you now. Some pumps. You click on them, you get a product menu, and this is where the AR steps in. This is the compelling, differentiating reason why you use AR in this type of scenario. You can't do this with a product picture, you can't do it with a video, you can't do it with a 360 video. Why? Because you can take that particular AR experience, you can walk it into your room, you can lay it down beside the dresses, and you can feel pretty confident that that's the type of product you want to purchase. So when you do want to purchase, because you're still in the Apple Business Chat messaging platform, you need to do nothing more than request for that purchase. And just like we've all done ourselves thousands of times before, you can use Apple Pay to buy. And so that's a phenomenal breakthrough because, again, in the spirit of removing friction in the customer journey and embedding yourself right at those touch points where customers make decisions, this is one of those strong candidates for where AR makes a compelling difference in the cycle. And so we're working with Live Person, with Tamara Mellon, and several other clients in the rollout of this technology and the use of AR. We're super excited about it, and we think it's going to be one of the great new battlegrounds for AR in the coming months. So with that, I'm happy to take any questions. I've got a little bit of time left over. I've got a fancy slide that shows we wrap up, but basically that's it. So first question is, when will we release the AR chat? We're in beta right now. We've got early adopters that we're rolling it out. We'll see it commercially available basically through I would say the end of July at this stage. What knowledge of the customer, sorry. Well, this is a good one. How do you accumulate, share, and monetize a customer's sentiment facet profile? So I'll talk about that specifically. We get asked about it a lot. Oh, there you go. Okay. So the first one is we don't actually capture or we just take the picture. There's no information that's actually stored there. When it comes to monetizing, that's entirely around whether or not the customer or the consumer really wants to do the buy. From our perspective, all we're trying to do is find vectors that indicate they like it or they dislike it. In fact, more times than not, you're focusing on, in the world of sentiment, the idea of disgust. They're unhappy with the product. So what can we do to sort of reverse back from there? From a monetization point of view, our pricing profile is very, very simple. We charge between $20 to $30 a SKU. We just put it up there per month, and then it just rolls from there. It's very simple, very scalable. What's this one? Can immersive data presentation be used effectively in a mixed platform? I'm not sure I understand that. Says the right to be forgotten and or the right. This is interesting. What knowledge about the customer? I don't know. I think anybody, do you have any questions, you guys? I can't read these. What knowledge of the customer? This is awkward. Anyways, I think I'll wrap it up at that. Thank you very much, everybody, and I appreciate the afternoon, taking the time this afternoon to talk to us. Thank you.